Hey guys, since we are doing a prep week before this challenge begins, I wanted to just break down how I go about meal prepping so I can hopefully give you some tips, some things that might help you in your own meal prepping journey. I will be the first to tell you that in the beginning, I was clueless without a meal prep. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was a waste of time. And I didn't really get on board with it till probably about a year and a half ago. And ever since then, it's a part of my routine. It's what helps me be successful when it comes to eating and staying on track, and also not feeling bad when I eat things like cheat meals. So I found a system that works for me, and I'm going to share with you guys, and you can feel free to use whatever you want. You might not like any of the things that I do. The most important thing, though, about meal prep that I cannot stress enough is that you have to find a system that works for you. Prior to finding this system, and I'm going to kind of share with you, I had tried so many different ones that everyone else was like, oh, this is what you need to do this and do that, and it did not work for me. And because of that, I was not successful. So you have to find things that are going to work for you, even right down to what kind of meal trackers you're using when it comes to what you're actually planning for your meals. Because if you don't like one aspect of it, you're not going to want to stick to it. You're not going to want to make it work for you. Got to give that disclaimer before we begin. So the first thing that I do with any kind of meal prep, and I'm going to kind of go back to the beginning for those of you who are brand new to it, if you don't know how it works yet, is I go to my program that I'm using, the meal plan book, to see what I need to have as far as nutrients and portions go. I religiously use the 21 Day Fix meal plan. It does not matter what program that I'm doing. I stick with this meal planning system. So right now I'm going to be doing for this group Masters Hammer and Chisel, which is a weightlifting program and cardio program. I'm about 4 weeks into it, but I'm still using this meal plan. A lot of the programs are similar, but I just found this works for me and I stick with it regardless of what I'm doing. So again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If I'm going for more extreme results, like for example, if I want to shed some serious pounds, I might switch to the extreme meal plan or the countdown to competition, that kind of thing, but I always stick to this. So if you are brand new, you want to go to your book and you want to find out how many portions of what, how many calories you should be taking in a day. I do check this at the beginning of every single group just because I don't typically weigh myself a whole lot, but in time, I know that I'm going to be going down brackets if I am losing weight or gaining weight. You know, you never know. So you want to make sure that you're following the proper portion. So that's what I do first and foremost. I go through to see how many of each I need. And those of you who don't know anything about the 21 Day Fix, the whole point of it is to make sure you're eating the food groups that you need to have, the proper amount of portions. Because so many people, they just think, well, I'm eating healthy because I'm eating this healthy recipe. I can have as much as I want. And that is not the case at all. In the beginning, when I started this 3 years ago, I was one of those people. And I'm like, I can eat all this salad with all this stuff on it. And it's great and it's healthy because it's salad, right? No. So you want to make sure that you're eating the proper portions of everything that you have. That's going to help you so much when it comes to weight loss. Usually when people are not getting results they want, it comes down to the meal plan. Meal plan is where it's at. You always hear that saying. I say it all the time. Abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. It's 100% accurate. It's all about nutrition. So what I do is I make sure, again, that I have the proper amounts, and then I write it down on a piece of paper, and then I start scratching things out. So this is an example of my week that I did for this upcoming week. Over here, I wrote down how many of each I need to have. I need to have 4 greens a day, which would be your vegetables. I need to have 3 purples, which are fruits, 4 reds, which would be proteins, 3 yellows, carbs, 1 blue, which is a healthy fat, 1 orange, which would be your seeds or nuts, and then 4 teaspoons, which would cover a couple different things. So then I start just drafting it out. I am old school. I have to write things down. I can't be just like visually figuring it out. I have to write it down and write next to it that when I'm having Southwestern egg cups for breakfast, that equates to 1 red, a half a yellow, and a half of a blue. So for me, that is what I do to figure it out. And then I make a little tick mark over here when I have that broken down in the meal plan so I can make sure each day I'm eating the amount. Just as eating too much of something is bad, eating too little of something is bad. So I don't want to short myself any of these food groups. These are all extremely important to success, and I don't want to miss any of those. So I break it all down, right down to my snacks, what kind of Shakeology I'm going to have, everything. It's all broken down right here. So you can see, and if I hold it up close enough, I don't know if you can see because I'm moving kind of fast, you can see like right down here, my spaghetti squash is going to count for 2 greens, 1 red, half purple. Just works for me. So I write it down like that. And once I have it in my mind what I want to eat that week and how I figure out what I want to eat, I want to just kind of backtrack for 1 second. I always usually pick one main protein besides Shakeology. Shakeology, of course, is a protein that I do not go without any single day. But I pick one kind of protein that works for me. This week, my protein of choice, I've actually got 2 of them, even though I just said I don't. But I've got chicken and I've got ground beef. Sometimes I will do ground beef for the whole week or chicken for the whole week. But because this week I have spaghetti, squash, and meatballs on my meal plan, I'm going to have ground beef for that. But I'm also going to be using that for some of the other recipes that I have on my meal plan too. The key to saving money when you're meal prepping and eating healthy is to do that, is to have a main protein. Protein is where the money is that you're going to spend, because steaks are expensive, chicken's expensive, all of that. If you buy it in bulk by shopping at a Costco, a Sam's Club, Aldi's, wherever you go, that's going to help you save money because you're going to be getting a bigger portion and spending less per serving. That's why I do it that way. If I get a great deal on chicken, like this week I got a great deal at Aldi's on my chicken, that's going to really help me when it comes to cost. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have ground beef and I'm going to build in spaghetti squash and meatballs because I was really in the mood for it. That's one of my favorite dishes to make, one of my healthiest ways too, or one of my healthiest dinners. So that is what I do. I figure out that protein and I work around that. So it's kind of like reverse engineering once you figure out what you want to have. You know, if you are thinking that you want to have hamburgers maybe one night, you know, for a family, because you got to keep your family in mind too. You might think, well, ground beef is a great option because you can use that ground beef for not only burgers if you weren't making it. You can make a healthy taco salad. That's one of the ones on my meals. You can make the meatballs. You can make a healthy meatloaf. You could do a lot of different things with it so you're not eating the same thing. You will see with my meal plans when I share them and as I talk about them, I do a lot of repetitive eating. Studies have shown that you're more successful when it comes to weight loss when you are doing that because you know what to expect and it's just easier that way. For me, I like it. The foods I eat, there's not one food that I put on my meal plan any week that I'm like, I don't want to eat that. It's always something that I'm interested in eating. There's a ton of recipes out there that are healthy. Please don't tell me that you're bored with your meal plan. If so, you're not, utilizing this group by asking for healthy recipes, by utilizing Pinterest, or even just doing a quick Google search. There are so many great things. Go on the Beachbody blog. If you go there, there's so many great recipes, snacks, everything. The resources are there, but you do have to do some work to find them. And there's a lot of great recipes that I can provide you too. So once all of that's done, I've gotten everything written down, then it's time for me to start doing my grocery shopping for the week. I usually do this on Saturdays, Friday, Saturdays. So I got this really great tablet, actually, if I show it to you, at a TJ Maxx, which is like a market list, it says. Of course, you can use pen and paper, whatever you want to use. I just like this little pad. But it's broken down by produce, dairy, meat, bread, frozen, condiments, and miscellaneous. And then what I do is I write down everything I need for the week for the recipes that I have on my meal plan. And then I go grocery shopping. Pretty simple, right? So when you look at it, you can see I already have strikes through some items because what I do is write everything down, and then what I do is go into my pantry and see if any of these items are already there so I can go ahead and eliminate it. So I already have tarragon, I already have black beans, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin puree. I really put the bulk of my grocery shopping into produce, dairy, and meat. The miscellaneous items that I need for this week, a couple things that honestly you don't need every week. When you're looking at it from a cost standpoint, but for some reason I'm all out of my pure maple syrup, all out of my raw honey, sliced almonds, and extra virgin olive oil. I usually have those on hand, but I've been using a ton of them. So, those are items that you don't spend money on every single grocery haul, but they're things that you're going to use for multiple things. One thing I want to share with you too is just how my meal plan looks. I'll be sharing this in the group, of course, so that way you can take a peek at it. I do a meal plan every single week, whether I'm in a group or not. You might think it's silly. Some people are like, that's a lot of work. It really isn't. Meal planning, the thing that I like most about it is that it saves me a lot of time. It does save me money too. So, if you're looking at a budget, you're looking at the cost effectiveness of it. It's extremely cost effective to meal prep and plan because you're planning ahead for the whole week. You don't have those miscellaneous, hey, I'm going to run through McDonald's today because I don't have dinner made, or I'm going to grab this at work from the vending machines because I didn't pack a snack. You know exactly what your meals are going to look like. And that is, for me, just kind of a bonus to things. But the main thing for me is the time saving. When I started doing this, I was still working 70 hours a week. I had not retired yet to be a full-time coach. And I was on the go constantly. And in the beginning, that was my excuse. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to do this. But when I realized that a couple hours on a Sunday saved me so much time during the week, I was all on board with it. It also just saves me a lot of time and headaches during the week. When there's days where my husband's off work, I would much rather spend time with him in the kitchen cooking, doing things when we could have some time together since we have it very little because he works crazy hours. So when you look at what this is going to do for you, you need to understand that even though it's a couple hours on a Sunday, yeah, it's a couple hours on a Sunday, but it's saving you hours every single day and making sure that you're following your meal plan and staying on track when it comes to your goals. So what I do is I have a printout of my favorite meal planner. I'll put the digital version in the group. I just like how this one looks because it has all of my meals broken down and has snacks over here. If you're doing the 21-day fix, there's some very specific 21-day fix ones that you can color code and do things, mark which colors you're using. I am at the point now that I know when I'm looking at this what colors it's going to be. I've already done my little cheat sheet as we've talked about that breaks it down too. I don't need to have it on my meal planner, but you might need it. It might help you. So do what works for you. But I have everything written down as far as what I'm going to be eating, including one thing I want to talk about really quick, which is right down here, which you'll see is a cheat meal. When I'm doing this meal planning and I'm figuring everything out, the one thing that I do that is very important is I go through my planner. I look at the upcoming week and see what I have going on. I'm always busy. I'm always running around. And the one thing that can throw you off track really quick is if you're not planning ahead and you forget that you've got a birthday dinner for so-and-so at this restaurant on Friday when you had planned a meal at home, and then you're at this restaurant and now you don't know what to eat or what to do. So what I do is I look at that ahead, my event calendar, and I see what's going on. Like for example, on Friday I have a wedding that I have to go to. I'm not sure what the food is there. I'm not sure at all. So I just have on there Heather's wedding. But I do know that when I go there, there's usually some typical foods at weddings, right? There's some kind of protein, some kind of vegetable. So what I focus on when it comes to those things, if I don't know in advance what I'm going to be eating, is portion control. I make sure that I know that I need, protein the size of a palm of my hand, and that kind of thing. So that way then I'm not going to overeat just because it's there in front of my face. If I have the opportunity to go ahead and know that I've got a work meeting or at a restaurant or something like that, I'll look at the menu ahead of time so I can have an idea and not be thrown under the gun and feel the need to get mozzarella sticks or pizza or one of those things. So prepare. It's all about preparation with this. But when I look at my events, it helps me to figure out the cheat meals. I am a strong believer. It does not matter which program or meal plan I'm doing, you have to have a cheat meal built in every single week. A cheat meal is not let's eat an entire pizza. Like last night, for example, my husband wanted to have our cheat meal, which we had scheduled. So we got this. That did not mean I ate this whole large pizza myself. It means that I had a proper portion control, that I had 2 pieces, and I had a salad as a side as opposed to the breadsticks and the other things. It's still maintaining portion control, but allowing yourself to eat those things that you like. For me, that works. If I do not have a cheat meal built in every single week, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a binge fest. And one weekend, I'm just going to probably eat 2 of those pizzas and feel bloated and disgusting for the next week. So build a cheat meal in, but really focus on the portion controls. But have that on your meal plan. Like I have on there on Saturday. I don't even know what the cheat meal is going to be yet because I just know that my husband and I have plans and that's what we're doing. Some kind of dinner, don't even know. Once I figure out where we're going, then I'll be able to determine from the menu what I want to have and make sure that I'm following portion control. It's really, really important that you do that. Build that into your plan when you're figuring everything out. Think about things like when you might be running late because you've got a doctor's appointment in the morning before work. What kind of snacks would be good to have? You need to just kind of think about those things. Make it second nature for yourself. And then write everything down in here so you can look at it. I hang this right on my fridge so that way I can see if I'm confused for whatever reason. Oh, today my lunch should be the Fix8 chicken salad over lettuce, and I'm having the sweet potatoes aside. Usually I sit down on Fridays, take a little bit of time, I go through the ads for the week for the grocery stores I go to, and just start figuring out right then. I always have my cookbook handy that I use all the time, my Fix8 cookbook. Even when I'm watching TV, I could just go ahead and thumb through and look and see what looks good that week, and then start making this. You don't have to do this all in one sitting. You might sit down and think about grocery items, and you might sit down and figure out what works with your meal plan. And then you might, shop a different day and meal prep. For me, Fridays is the best day to get things going when it comes to planning. Saturdays is the best day to shop. Sundays is the best day to prep. And that's just kind of what works for me in my life. Do what works for you. Again, I cannot stress it enough. So I'm going to be uploading in the group some of my favorite meal planners. But again, like I said in the very first part of the video, you want to find something that works for you. So if you don't like any of my meal planners, don't just say, oh, I'm done, I'm not using this. Go jump online, Pinterest, put in blank meal planners. There are about 1.5 billion that you can find one that will work for you. And if all else fails, just write down pen and paper how things will work. You got to have a system, guys. You got to have a system. In this challenge group, I'm going to be asking you to share meal plans. Those of you that have been in my groups before, I'm going to be asking you for this kind of stuff. Be on the lookout for some of the resources that I'm going to be sharing in the group and the file section. That way you can have access to those. And again, if you find something that's amazing that you want to share, please feel free to do so. I encourage you to. This is a supportive community. We're all here to help each other. We're all here for the same reasons, to get healthier. So nothing is silly to share. Share it. Be successful. Be excited. It all starts with this, guys. So happy planning. I'll talk to you guys later on. Bye.